Welcome back to the show. I'm Isha Bay. Today we're looking at a clip from Matt Walsh, and we also have one from the Fresh and Fit podcast because what I want to do today is something a little bit different. Something I don't hear a lot something I don't hear at all from conservatives or from men, black men, and that is that we are actually very similar and we are fighting the same thing, the same people, and they have the exact same tactics. Now, conservatives are fighting what they call the culture war against leftist woke, propaganda and the intelligentsia. Black men will say we are fighting ratchet, uh, uh, you know, um, we are fighting, feminism, the I don't need no man, as strong black women, and just like that, just a hatred of men in general. But what we're both are actually fighting is the same thing as just divide and conquer. The same people and political groups support both. The same corporations are putting out the exact same things. And it actually just hit me. When they say diversity is our strength, it's true. Diversity is their strength because diversity gives them things to divide. And so the more diversity they have, the more division that they can create, the more power that they can usurp for themselves. That's how it works. So diversity is absolutely their strength in a literal sense, is where they get their power from. Black men, we are fighting. We fought for our community. We actually lost. The battle started back in the '60s, and we have been thoroughly defeated. And now we're trying to make a comeback. Conservatives don't lose. The way that we lost is the same way they're trying to get you now, to peel the women away from the men. They did it to us first. Look at our community. This is the reason why our community is the way it is because the women, because we don't have a black community. We have black men, and then we have women and children. They are two distinctly separate groups, and it's been designed that way, and they're working on you guys right now. So we're going to listen to the Matt Walsh clip first. After that, I'm going to explain what the heck this is and why this applies to both of us, for black men as a group and a larger conservative group as a whole. So let's jump into the Matt Walsh clip now.
Speaking of not being able to trust the media, here's another reason why. This is a story from here's a story from NBC News by a reporter named Matt Levites. Here's the headline. Far-right figures appear to be testing Twitter's boundaries for anti-LGBTQ speech. Elon Musk, the new owner of Twitter, has billed himself as a champion of free speech and vowed to prevent Twitter from becoming a free-for-all hellscape. So this is a story that he wrote. He tweeted it out too, and he said it in his tweet. He said that there are a bunch of conservatives and far-right figures who are tweeting slurs against LGBT people now. So that's the way this is being framed. So it's hate speech. We're engaging in slurs and all that kind of thing. Here's the article. In the few days since Elon Musk closed his deal to buy Twitter, far-right users have started to celebrate what they hope will be the ability to freely use homophobic and transphobic rhetoric and make threats on the social media platform. On Saturday, former UFC fighter Jake Shields, who has over 340,000 Twitter followers, appeared to be testing the boundaries of the company's moderation apparatus by posting a photo of a drag queen smiling at a young drag performer with the caption, "This is a groomer." Shields added, "I was suspended for this exact tweet a month ago, so we'll see if Twitter is now free." The word grooming has long been associated with mischaracterizing LGBT people, particularly gay men and transgender women, as child sex abusers. On Friday, conservative podcaster Matt Walsh, who describes himself as a theocratic fascist, lauded Musk's acquisition of the company and encouraged his over 1 million followers to start misgendering trans people. "We've made huge strides against transgender," Walsh tweeted. "In just a year, we've recovered many years of ground conservatives had previously surrendered. The liberation of Twitter couldn't have come at a more opportune time. Now we can ramp up our efforts even more." Laws are changing and public opinion is changing. Walsh, who held an anti-trans protest in Nashville attended by thousands last month, continued, "We have done all of this intentionally. It was all part of the plan that we laid out and executed." Okay, so I make it into the article, of course, and I could go on and he gets to libs of TikTok and a couple others. At no point does he actually provide an example of a, quote, far-right person using a slur. And at no point does he give any example of anyone making threats or encouraging threats. There are no examples of that. That's how the article is set up. There are no actual examples of it. The word groomer is not a slur. It is an accurate description of what these people are doing. It's not a compliment either, but it's when we're accurately describing your evil behavior, there's no complimentary way to describe it. I did say that I'm looking forward to going on a misgendering spree on Twitter. I've been saying that all along. But of course, by misgendering, I mean correct gendering. So that's not a slur either. No actual examples, even though that was how it was framed. But here's the point. In the original article, now this is apparently has been changed. But the original article says, after the part where they're quoting me, the reporter claims that he reached out to me and I didn't respond to a request for comment. Okay? Well, and that language has been removed. But it was there originally. Well, this reporter, he reached out to me yesterday morning and told me that he's working on an article. He's writing an article about, the anti-LGBT rhetoric, and he'd love to get my take on it because I'm going to be included in the article, and he'd love to get my perspective as well. In fact, he begins his message, "Hope you're well!" ! But he'd love to get my opinion on it. He says. In fact, I can pull it up. I'll tell you exactly what he said. Okay, so he wrote me yesterday. I said, this is yesterday at 8:21 a.m. He says, "Hi, Matt. Hope you're well. I'm writing an article for NBC News regarding the uptick in what many would call charged rhetoric over LGBTQ issues." What many would call. That's what he is calling it, but he said it's what many people are saying. "I'm going to be quoting a tweet of yours from the other day, and therefore want to reach out for comment. Let me know if you'd like to expand on your thoughts on this topic. Looking forward to hearing from you." So it was yesterday at 8:21 a.m. And I got this message, and I've been around the block a little bit with these people. I know how it works. So he says he's writing the article. I got the message at, I saw it 10 minutes later. And so I went and checked. I went to NBCnews.com, and what do you know? The article's already been posted. And it was already posted long before he sent the request for comment. They posted it at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon the previous day. And then he waits for the afternoon and evening to pass, and then the following day reaches out to me and says that he's writing the article right now and wants to get my comment. And not only that, but in the original version of the article, again, it said that they reached out to me and I didn't respond. But they didn't reach out to me at the time when they published it. They had not reached out to me. They were just anticipating that I wouldn't respond, and so they claimed it as if it had happened. And I saw this, and I messaged him back. I said, "Hi, Matt, I see that you've already published your article. Timestamp seems to indicate it was published the day before you reached out for comment. Is that correct?" He says, "Yes, the original version of the story was published yesterday. We'd appreciate your comment on this topic if you have anything to add." And I did have something to add, and I messaged him back. I said, "I think you understand that it's a tactic to publish a story, wait until the initial push of traffic has died down, and then ask for comment from the people you've smeared in the article. I don't care if you guys are partisan vultures masquerading as journalists. I just preferred if you didn't insult my intelligence by pretending that you want to hear my perspective for an article that you published yesterday." Haven't had a response after that. After that.
So that was Matt Walsh. Okay, breaking down a couple of things, and what you're going to find is that the same thing that as black men as a group have been fighting against, they're going to use the same type of arguments. If you've ever seen clips or watched the entire movie of What Is a Woman, you will find that black men are dealing with that same kind of logic in the same world. We're just way further ahead. We're decades ahead of you guys. But eventually, with the way that things are going right now, if it doesn't turn around, the greater society, all of America will be exactly where the black community is now, in shambles, and that's what they're fighting against. If you want to know what your future looks like, Korea, Japan, if you want to know what your future looks like, going down the very what they call woke, but which is really just a divide and conquer, uh, mentality or way to dominate, then what happened is you're going to get where black people in the United States are now, once you have succeeded in that division. Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick, and so we can understand what this means. I'm going to explain this as quickly as I possibly can. Okay, so the pink is the feminine, the blue is the masculine. Okay, and this is how our world is currently set up. Our world is set up to where if you are upper middle class, lower middle class, and a bit below the poverty line, this is where you live. Okay, you live in a very feminine world order. Now, what's this bar down here? This bar down here supports the feminine. It wouldn't be able to run if there weren't very masculine men in construction, in plumbing, in sewage, on the oil rigs, building the vehicles, doing the fishing, doing the dangerous jobs that people with gender studies degrees don't go down and do. These are very masculine jobs that have comparatively high death rates on the job. They're dangerous. They're very masculine, and you need these what they would call toxic masculinity, hypertoxic men. You need them to actually support this feminine world order. So we just don't talk about them. Okay, we don't want to do that. We don't want the 50-50 on those jobs, right? But what's this up here? Let's say if I'm woke, or what I like to call a divisionist. Let's say if that's you, you're gonna come along and you're gonna say, okay, women are men are women, women are men. They can be whatever they want to be, and that needs to be respected. So I want the feminine order, this out of balance world, to persist. And so how can I keep people out of balance? Because naturally they're going to go to get into balance. You need someone to force them. So, hey, this is my gender ideology, and I want other people to have to live by it. Well, then you're going to have to come up here to these very toxic men. You're going to have to go to the police. You're going to go to the FBI. You're going to have to depend on the military to defend this from other men, other countries out in the world, and defend the way that you want to do things. So you need a masculine organization above and masculine organization below, so this can exist in the first place, right? It doesn't matter how you feel. If you don't come into work, if the sewage system isn't running, this is going to collapse. It doesn't matter how you feel. There are no 3 months of vacation for these guys. If we get a shortage, the power goes out, the water stops running, the oil stops running, the planes don't fly, the trains don't move, the world crumbles. You need to come to work. You get none of this extra, okay? And these are the ones that protect and dictate the world and make the laws for it to happen. Now, at the top up here, this are the business and political class that have a lot of power. You'll notice one thing: if you are in the center here, and you get married, divorce rate over 50%. It drops precipitously. It drops by a large margin if you are in the masculine world up here, if you have more balance. And this is actually, in the blue, can be balanced, or it can be more leaning towards the masculine. And a slight lean towards the masculine, the feminine is good. But in a world where there are no masculine, there is nothing objective. Everything is subjective based off of your emotions. This is the world you live in. And once again, these are the people that are under the poverty line. These are the homeless. These are the people who are just making it on the edge, who are going out there. It's do or die for them. This is how this is how the Western world is set up. Okay, sorry about it being so terrible. It is. I had a short time before the video. I wanted to give you a visual for how the feminine world order works. It only works surrounded by the masculine. Okay, so we heard a bit about Matt Walsh. Let's see what are black men having to deal with. Why do I say that they live in a very similar world, and the arguments are basically the same? Let's listen to an everyday conversation from black men.
For me,
okay? So this is an everyday conversation. Now, so when you think a feminist, like crazy far left feminist, if you are like just a conservative, if you're not black, you think somebody with pink hair screaming and all of this stuff. But this is what our radical feminists look like. They look like our everyday lady. Every single one, 9 out of 10. This is what it looks like. Okay? And if you want to know, once again, if you want to know what the future looks like, if you lose the culture war, just look at the black community. That's where you'll be. It's not a racial thing. The reason why we are the way we are is because, well, the men lost. Let's go.
Super informative. I just think that the resources that you use was not credible. So most of everything is invalid, and it's your opinion. And then I just feel like
real quick, make sure what was not credible specifically.
Because you didn't give numbers. You said majority, which is 51% or more, but you never said a number. So like,
okay,
it's not
what
credible.
Specifically do you want numbers for?
Everything that you said.
Give me an example.
For example, you said most men you said a lot of things. So whatever you said, you never gave a number. There's no numbers. There's no stats, whatever.
We have a cheat sheet with all these stats you can look at as well.
I mean, do we need a study to say that the sky's blue?
Yes.
Oh, then I'm a numbers person. There's just no reason.
I'm a numbers person.
So if you need a study to tell you that the sky is blue, then I don't know what to tell you. You lack critical thinking skills.
How would you know the sky is blue if you don't have a study?
Well, now you're just trying to be a contrarian.
No, I'm not.
Hey, Mr.
Let me tell you.
Here, look here. On screen. Here's numbers. Here's a chart.
Where's the source from?
What day? It comes from OkCupid.
No. What's the date?
It comes from 2010 OkCupid, which, like I said before, dating apps are a very accurate measurement of what people really want because they can't be judged.
This was 2010 though. This is new. The newer generation. 2010. You can't go off of 2010.
Bring your
We're
study.
not 20. I don't have to study. I haven't said anything. You guys were saying all the information.
That's the point.
Okay, I would one day. No, seriously.
I mean, dude,
I want to see the numbers.
You're telling me that you need a study to corroborate something that's like clearly a verifiable independent fact?
Correct.
If you ask 10 men, but if you ask 10 women, it's going to be a different thing. Yeah. For some of the things that you said, yeah.
BYOF.
The argument,
facts.
The argument was men prefer younger women. So why would a woman's opinion matter on that?
Right. I said for some of the things, so don't come at me. I was just.
But that's what we're discussing right now.
I'm just saying, I just want to update it.
You gotta be relevant if you're gonna interject.
No, she is relevant, but
No,
I'm just
she's not.
saying, I just want to update it, stats about the information that you're saying, so you can be credible.
All right, here's
then,
up there.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on.
Go. I want to see it. I'm not denying what you're saying. But
No. But like,
updated.
do you not understand how asinine this argument is? Like, if I was to say, right, I need a study to prove that women prefer men that make money and are tall and are athletic, have an athletic build, wouldn't I sound stupid for that?
No, nothing stupid.
No, I would sound stupid because I am doubting something that is easily verifiable and factual. Women overwhelmingly prefer men that are tall, that have money, that have status.
If you find it, you find it. If we see it. Like, I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's okay.
This is the education system. Holy shit.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. Oh God. This is bad. I mean, dude, like,
this is scary. Actually.
This is scary that she's a PhD candidate and you need a study to verify something that is clearly it's indisputable.
In the PhD program, you do studies to verify information. Yeah. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, but
what do you not understand?
They're not going to waste their time doing an entire study to verify something that is clearly factual. Men prefer younger women. It's been that way since the beginning of time.
You know what? I'm gonna do my dissertation on that. To find the study. Like, what's okay? Like, whatever. I like numbers.
You market to a certain type of
audience,
and that's cool. But if you want to be objective with it, then go on the street and ask all different types of men, random men, not the men that are listening to you constantly.
Do you know, right?
So wait. So what is not objective about men prefer younger women? That is the truth. That is an objective fact.
I agree with that. I'm not saying that. I agree.
What are you arguing?
And
Now, what are you arguing particularly?
I'm arguing that what you're saying right now, what you're trying to prove is
Which
not.
is, give us exactly what we're trying to prove that is not objective.
That most.
Go ahead.
You gotta wait for me to pause to play that.
Well, there's a pause right now.
Yeah, honestly, we're just going in circles, so I'm good.
Okay, because you're trying to, you're making an accusation, and then we're asking you, okay, articulate your accusation. You can't do it.
Okay.
That's what's going on. I'm giving you a platform to, okay, what are we saying that's incorrect?
They're still saying
I feel like you're incorrect.
I'm saying the way that you're trying to prove things is not accurate. Just like somebody says something and you're like, oh, well, is the sky blue? Like you're trapping somebody to agree with you. Obviously, yes, the sky is blue. Obviously, yes, most people on this chat are going to answer a certain type of way because they think a certain type of way, because they're a certain type of audience, because that's who you market to. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the way that you try to prove things, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm saying the way that you come at it is not accurate.
Well, I use analogies to describe things because it's very difficult for women to understand sometimes. So I have to give an analogy to
What makes
illustrate
you
what I'm
think
saying.
that we don't understand you?
Because I've been repeating myself multiple times, saying a fact, and then you guys have refused to accept said fact.
Okay.
I want to go home.
Did I?
Okay, so if you watched Matt Walsh, What is a Woman? The conversations went a lot like that. This is every day, all day for us. This is what happens if you lose. So once again, don't lose. Fight hard as you can, because this will be your future. Korea, Japan, this is your future. If you let the divisionists come in and start with their with things like woke, their woke this, blah blah blah, feminism and stuff like that. You let them separate you. That this is exactly what's going to happen. Okay, so we live in this hyper feminine world that's out of balance, that says everything masculine is bad, except if it's a woman demonstrating those traits, and it's typically in a negative way. She said, "Bring your own facts." All right, BYOF. Okay, that's how they live. Remember, there's no woke. There's only divide and conquer. And so, using very feminine, hyper feminine traits in world order. So women are linguistically superior to men. Women don't compete with men in a physical aspect. So to ensure their survival, they've developed other ways, and biologically, in a biological sense, that would allow them to survive and thrive, even amongst men who are stronger. And that is by using things, emotions, and using your words. They can create reality. And so women, and when they attack you, so they don't attack physically, they usually attack verbally and emotionally. This is why they say women have sharper tongues, and this has been documented. And this is not an opinion. If you don't know this, do a quick, Google search, and that'll tell you everything. So women will try to invalidate facts by demoting all information down to the level of opinions. There is no objective reality. There's only feels over reals, is what they say nowadays. So you saw it a bit there. And they will not agree with you, but also not disagree with you. So you can't be right, since you two are not in agreement, even though they're not saying they are disagreeing with you. All right? Some people call it word salad. It goes all the way around. This is how the feminine moves. It has less order, and to defend itself, it will make edits to reality through communication. And so what it really does is break down communication, so that you will get lost in that communication and you won't know your head from your tails. One of the things that women say men need to learn more than anything else is communication. Men need to learn communication. I think that's absolutely incorrect. When women say men need to learn how to communicate, it's really that men need to learn how to accept what women have said. And they want men to be able to understand what they're saying, even a lot of times when they don't understand what they are saying themselves, because it's a rush of emotions, and a lot of times emotions are hard to put into words. The example that I give people, feel free to use this one. It is the most rock solid. The best and most organized, the highest level of communication you can ever get is in the more masculine organizations. The more masculine the organization is, the better the communication is. Okay, communication improves with masculinity. Less words, more direct communication. Men are more direct communicators. Once again, Google it, look it up, don't believe me. But I present my evidence. The military is the most masculine organization in the world. Those are the most masculine organizations in the world, and they have the highest levels and the most clear cut, the best ways to communicate and to organize millions of people, literally millions of people at once. You can't get more masculine than that. So effective communication is masculine. Okay. Said they waste time studying nonsense. Obviously they would. So once again, we lost a war for our community, and you're fighting what you call a culture war, and it's all very confusing. Because what you'll get from like a lot of feminists and things like that is confusion. Like me, I'm confused. Most black men are confused. Most black women are confused. We're just confused people. Because, okay, I don't know what my victim score is, so I don't know what I'm entitled to. Because, okay, I'm a black, what they say, or you're a minority, but then I also have male privilege. So do those cancel each other out? Is that zero? Or does being a minority, being a black man gives me 2 points? Well, being black give me 2 points, and then being a man is -1. So then I still have 1 point. So my victim score, so I deserve so much based off of that. Because I question this because Caucasian women are often, seen screaming at the top of their lungs, what they call Karens, woke Karens, are screaming at the top of their lungs, and they're going to explain how for hundreds of years women have been oppressed, and now it's their time to shine. But then they basically just got the right to vote, and sometimes they'll be screaming this at black men. The last couple hundred years, Caucasian women have now been oppressed in an oppressed class, and my ancestors have been living on, living with the sun out and some tanning on the beach. They leave that part out when they come and they talk about things like the fictional wage gap, which all feminists, intersectional feminists, black, white, and all these coming together. But I never hear that the black feminists turn and go, hey, you know what, Susan? I just thought about this, and white women actually on average make more than black men. So if we actually moved as a group and actually went and we focused on getting us as a people, us as a group, up to your level, I would actually make more money than if I got paid the same as my male counterpart, because they still make less than Caucasian women. So Caucasian women make more than black men, but they're sitting here on average, but they're sitting here telling me I have male privilege. And it's all very confusing. So if someone knows that and you could drop it in the comment and tell me what my victim score is, that would be great. That way I know what I can cash in on and what I'm entitled to and what I'm not entitled to. Okay? But the bottom line is this. It's the same fight. It is the exact same battle. Okay? Learn from what we've been through. And there needs to be a bridge created between the competent black male leadership and not the ones who are running around saying that they're a victim, screaming about persistent racism and things like that. The ones that are providing solutions, and not the government needs to write bigger checks. They need to stop writing big checks. That's what they need to do. But not that the government needs to start writing bigger checks, but our actual competent leadership. And they need to realize that the conservatives need to realize that we're kind of in this whole thing together. And once again, as I mentioned, diversity is their strength, because without diversity, they cannot divide. And that is pretty much a wrap for me, man. Drop it in the comments. So if you're a conservative and this makes sense to you, if it doesn't make sense to you, my channel is still small, so I can be very active in the comments. Drop a comment. If you want to connect with me directly, go ahead and shoot me a message on Instagram. The link is in the bio. Black men, if this is making sense to you, all right? If this is making sense to you, same thing. Give me some feedback here. Let me know if you think I hit the nail on the head or if I'm way off down the road. And I will catch you guys next time.